I think young people need to be schooled in things that we weren't schooled in. And the landscape has just changed tremendously. So you get your vision, you figure out what you want to do, and then you have to figure out how you uh, sell that. We didn't really need, we didn't go out and sell the coalition to the university. They tried to subsume the coalition. Uh, but I think that the landscape has changed so that you really have to be able to speak a language that uh, gets people understanding what's going on kind of ahead of time. So what I urge people to do is to get out in the community and get that community support. But there has to be some kind of institutional support also. And so when we, like when we were developing the rural residency track program, I went to the board of supervisors and got a letter of support from the board of supervisors, and things that I never would have thought of doing, 45, 50 years ago. Uh, so I think that you have to learn the lay of the land better than we did. And I think that's come across in our discussion today too. We really were pretty naive in terms of the lay of the land, but you still stick to your core mission. Unfortunately, HIPAA and liability and other things of that like ilk have um, put a lot of structural, not barriers, but structural sort of obligations there. And in today's world, you really do have to consider those. So you've got to do more sort of background learning than we did. I don't think we bothered to do it. We were too busy doing health fairs, working in the community, and going to homecoming in Stony Fork, and uh, so you need to work with the community, but you gotta have structure to it.
Mm.
Uh, You want to say something, or and I
Well,
jump?
I guess my take on that, Gillian, is this, that I think that, and this is building on what Bob was saying. Uh, you know, I think it's a sense of trying to figure out if you have student activists or students or young people. What is their mission, and what is it they're trying to accomplish, uh, and then uh, try to figure out where allies are to help support that mission, but not subsume it. And that's difficult. That's really hard, and sometimes there aren't any. I mean, the coalition was in a unique situation, and I wonder to what extent a lot of those foundations that were providing money to the coalition early on were doing that in a way that they basically were attempting to change the institution and using the coalition as a vehicle to do that. That's really operating at a very high level, of power and influence. And I'm not so sure that many, students or activists sort of deal at that level. But on the other hand, that's how I would perceive it. And then sort of, I guess what this is what I think Joe was really focusing on is, we didn't have the experience, and how could we have the experience to understand how you work in coalition with others, other than getting what we needed. So we worked in coalition with TVA because we needed a trailer. We worked with various folks to get things. We weren't thinking about what the long-term strategy of that is, and that, unfortunately, that just takes experience. So I guess my vision, or my advice would be, go with your passion, uh, but realize that your passion isn't you need to tie that in with others, because ultimately things become successful when they are reflected in coalition and building with others to help everybody sort of achieve a goal that they think is important, in a way that you don't lose your soul.